Hi everyone, how are you? This is our weekly training webinar. My name is Javier, if you don't know me by now. And today we have a very special edition of this webinar because today, instead of covering the first steps you should take with your theme in order to build your pages, as we usually do, today we'll be talking only about the portfolio feature on the themes. Today's webinar will be also a little bit shorter, so if you just watch it, one of the recorded training sessions, and you're watching this one, I think we can expect to cover everything we have to cover today in like 30 minutes. So half an hour should be enough. If you didn't watch the first training session, so if this is the first thing you're watching, click stop, go and watch the other video, and then come back to this one because it'll be much helpful to you. So that said, this is what we're going to work on today. Let me share my screen. Let's share my screen. We have our working site, okay? And I'm sorry, this is a homepage of a site, and this is just an empty website, and I installed I think it's called Agency. Yeah, it's called Agency Artisan Site. Okay, let me show you what we are working with today. So it's this one here, Digital Agency. Okay, this is the one we'll be working with. I just installed it and I only changed one of the options for this work page here. But this is practically a new website. Okay, didn't do much besides installing this artisan site. And if I go to work here, I have this section here very nicely layouted. I don't know if you can say that. I'm saying it. Okay, so we have this section here with like 5 different images with names and a category below each. And I can go and click on one. And then if I come inside it, I have like this sort of post with more information and images and such. Okay, now it's worth to mention that I'm working today with our Pepper Plus theme, but you will have a portfolio section that works just like this if you are using Naima, Modules, Indigo, or Pepper Plus. Okay, the styling of the portfolio section might be different, and you may have perhaps 1 or 2 different options in there, but the whole functioning of this area is practically the same. Okay, so back to this page here, what I have here is what we call a portfolio. And the portfolio, and regardless of the name that it has, because it started as a way of for agencies to showcase their work, this section can be used for any sort of catalog that you want to present in your website. So let's say that you have different magazines, that you are a collector of magazines or a collector of books, and you want to present each of your books in a way that let me browse the content and perhaps browse your whole collection. Or perhaps you have products that you sell, but you don't want to use an e-commerce plugin because you won't really be selling those via the internet. You don't want people to be able to purchase with the click of a button. You want to present them and then for them to be able to contact you if they want it. Or perhaps you have, you're a designer and you have like 8 different packages that people can book you for. Perhaps one is a design, and another one is only logo design, and another one is brand design, and then you have one for web design, and then you have one for stationery design. So if you want to present different types of services on your website, when I can first browse the whole collection of things, and then go into one of these things and browse the content inside them, then the portfolio module is exactly what you have to use on your website. And we love it because it's so powerful, and I hope that today I'll be able to show you a little bit of what you can do with it. So coming back to this is the portfolio module, okay? In this case, I have like 5 portfolio items. We call each of the items inside the portfolio a portfolio item. And again, I'll be saying portfolio all over again. But remember, if what you're doing is not really a portfolio, think of it as just a collection of things that you want to show, right? Don't think of it as only a portfolio. It's more or less a collection. So we have 5 portfolio items. And the first thing that we want to take a look at is that once you activate the portfolio plugin that you should activate to be able to use this, you see that you have this portfolio menu on your WordPress menu now. And if you click on it, or if you go to all portfolio items, what you see here is that we have 5 different portfolio items, and it really looks like it is a regular WordPress post, right? So if I go to the posts menu, let me show you, we have 4 posts, and it looks just the same. And that is because the portfolio uses a new sort of post type. And in WordPress, every type of post that you add, it's called a post type. So for instance, pages are actually another post type that in WordPress we call pages. And the portfolio items in this case is also a new post type. And we will handle it just as if it were a regular post. So if I see my portfolio items, I can go into one of them and start editing the content inside them. And that is the first thing that you want to do to create your portfolio. So let's pick, for instance, a topic for our portfolio. Let's say that we have different services that we want to showcase on our website. Okay, and I have these 5 portfolio items, but nevertheless, I will go and create a new one because I want to start this from afresh. So what I have to do first is add my first portfolio item. Of course, if I'm going to have a section, let's say that I will have, I don't know, at least 3 items that I want to use for. So let's start by adding the first one. And as you can see, what I have here is simply a WordPress editor. Okay, I have my Yoast box here that I can close. We won't use it now. So nothing more than that. Okay, so first we will add our title. So let's say that my first service is brand design. Okay, so brand design. And now we come to the difficult part because we have to fill this up with content. And now inside the portfolio item, you can use all types of content that you imagine that you can bring into a regular WordPress post. So whether it is text, images, galleries, videos, audio, you can bring it into a portfolio item. And the way to do that is just as if you were creating a regular WordPress post. I'm stressing that out because even so, the portfolio is a pretty smart module, and I will show you in a couple of minutes what you can do with it. The way you build this up is just the same. So let's start by adding some text into it. And to bring some text, I will go and grab this text from here. Let's say that it's a page that I have created already, and I will go and paste it here. Not too hard, actually. And then, of course, I have to add a feature image, and the feature image is the image that you will see once you take a look at the whole portfolio section. So if I see this portfolio module in here, these images that you see here representing each of our portfolio items is the feature image for those items. So let's come here, click on set feature image, and let's add a feature image. I will use these images that I have uploaded here, but if this is your first time working with WordPress and your website, you probably won't have that many images here. So you just go and click on upload files, upload your images, and then come back to this. Okay, so now I'm selecting it and clicking on set feature image, and I will click on publish. And that's about it. I have my first portfolio item. I can go and click on the permalink to see how it looks. So I have my feature image in here, the title, and then my text, and again, the feature image on the actual portfolio item. And this looks fairly nice and was super easy. So I'm already happy. Now let's add another one because I will need this to show you what can we do with the module. So add a new item. Let's say that we want to have web design. And again, some text here. Some text here. Perfect. And then another feature image. The images here won't really match what we are doing, but never mind. Okay, so set feature image and then publish. And let's do another one. By the way, Sandra, if you have any questions, just post them, but please post them. Yeah, exactly. We are so synced. Absolutely. Go ahead and write it in there. So the third one could be, I'll take a look at it in a minute. So brand design, web design, logo design, and then some text, set a feature image. I'm just going around, wait, no, this one here. And then another one, the fourth one, let's say that it is, we did brand design, web design, logo design, and website redo. Let's say that we offer the service to redo a whole website. Okay, and then again, wait, some text, and then the feature image. I'm of course copy pasting my text, but you don't want to do that. You want to enter nicely created copy. Okay, so publish. And before we go on, Sandra asked, in my case, the portfolio item does not look like yours. It only takes over a bit more than the third of the screen. All right, yes, we will get to that in a minute, in just a minute. Now, this is, we have our 4 portfolio items, all right? So we have the website redo, logo design, web design, brand design, and we actually didn't do much than only adding some text into them. All right, but let's say that we go ahead and take the web design one and add a video right between these 2 paragraphs. Okay, so let me just switch to the visual editor here. Perfect. Now, and I want to enter a video right in between those 2 paragraphs. So I have this YouTube video here that I think I want to use. I'm just copying the URL. If this is your first time working in WordPress, copying the URL of a video is the only thing that you need in order to embed a video inside a post. So pasting the video here and voila, video is there. Click on update. I'm just going to click on the permalink again to take a look and see how it looks now. So I have our feature image here and then the text, and then the feature image, and then the video. Now, as you can see, the video really didn't really stay on that place, so we'll deal with that in a few moments. But before that, let's go ahead and add a gallery into one of these other portfolio items. So perhaps logo design, and we have this here, and again, perhaps I will copy this paragraph. So I have 2 paragraphs and then a 3rd paragraph. And in the middle, I want to use a gallery. Now, this same week, we had a topic on our forums asking regarding this gallery menu that you probably see here on your WordPress dashboard. Now, these are not the galleries that you want to use. These galleries come from this other Lightbox plugin, and they just added this gallery section that really confuses us, and this is not what we have to do. What we have to do is just use the regular WordPress gallery for this. So I will go and click on Add Gallery. Okay, and sorry, this is not, excuse me, Add Media. Okay, now we're talking. So I will go ahead and click on Create Gallery, since I don't have one yet. And then I will select a couple of images. So let's say that I want this one and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one too. Okay, so create a new gallery, and I have my images here. I could rearrange them if I wanted to. So this here, something like that. Now, these gallery settings here don't really matter unless you want to show the gallery just as it is. I explain that in a moment, but for now, I just click on Insert Gallery, and I have the gallery right here at my portfolio item. So click on Update, and if I go and take a look to see how it looks, I have, again, my paragraph, and the gallery that I just inserted. Okay, now what happens is that we told you the portfolio module is really smart. So if you scroll down here and go to the portfolio items options, and this will answer your question, Sandra, you will see that you have this option that is called item layout. Now, what this option does is to automatically grab everything that you have inside your portfolio item and build something else with it. And this is super cool because no matter what theme are you using, you have at least 7, 8 different layouts that you can use for each of your portfolio items. And once you select one, it will automatically reorder everything that you have on that portfolio item to make it look differently. So in this case, you see that I'm using this layout one that apparently it comes with the title here at the top with the feature image, and then it grabs all our text, and then it grabs the media content. But if I changed it to, let's say, this one here, okay, and update it, this is the logo design one, so I go to the logo design one and refresh it. I no longer have my feature image at the top. Now I have the title here, all our text at the side, and then all the media on this right side here. And again, we're changing the design of it in just one click. How cool is that? Now, Sandra says, I use the same layout as you, but it still doesn't look the same. That's super weird. That's super weird. You were using layout one. You were using layout one. If you are using layout one and it just same with layout three, oh, perhaps, okay. So perhaps what's happening, I can think of a couple of things. Half-third of the screen. So perhaps what is going on there, I'm trying to think, but if we can solve this on this webinar, we'll surely take care of it in the forums. But perhaps you are opening these portfolio items and you have somehow a smaller version of that area working on. So perhaps you're opening the portfolio items on Ajax and they open in there on a smaller container, or perhaps you somehow are using a smaller, let's call it page container for them. That could be the reason. If that's not it, definitely post it on the forums. It should be a very, very, very simple thing to fix. Actually, it's probably just an option that somehow it's set. Definitely, yeah, it's probably some very, very simple option, or perhaps the images. Yeah. All right, so we just tested layout one and we did layout three. Now, let's take a look at layout two. Okay, so I click on update. And again, I will refresh the logo design one, refreshing this. This is one of my favorites, Sandra. Yeah, because it's gorgeous. Take a look at this. Again, I'm just playing with the options here. I didn't do anything else besides changing the layout option. And if you have different services, let's say that I have these 4 services, it's very, very interesting that I can make them look like something completely different. Because if I'm presenting, if I have a collection of, let's say, 50 books, so my 50 books are part of my collection, and I'll assume, we don't know, but I'll assume that none of these books is so much more special than the others. So perhaps I will use the same layout to present them all, because my whole collection is about books and all my books are part of the same thing, okay? So the only thing that I want here to change are the imagery of the books and perhaps the content and the title and such. But if we are creating portfolio items for different services, it's so cool that you can present them as different things. And the only thing you have to do for that is just change the layout. Okay, now let's take a look what happens if I enter a video as we did before right here at the middle. Okay, so I'm going to grab my URL again. We are at the logo design one. We didn't have a video here, so adding one now. Clicking on update, and we are again on layout, layout 2, right? Layout 2. Okay, so coming here to logo design. And again, I don't see the video just yet. I still see this cool slider. And if I start moving through the slider, I have my video inside the slider. How cool is that? How cool is that? And again, you can play with all these different layouts. But let me show you this special layout here at the bottom. This layout says as created and formatted. And if you click on it, what is going to happen is that the portfolio item will bring your portfolio item with the content just as you entered it here at the editor. So if my video here shows up right after the first paragraph, and then I have another paragraph, the gallery, and another paragraph, when I refresh my portfolio item, that's exactly what I'm going to have. Okay, the paragraph, the video, another paragraph, and then my gallery. And here's when your gallery settings from WordPress apply. When you use your portfolio content just as created and formatted, this is where those settings apply. Okay, now we have our portfolio item ready to rock. Let's just, sorry, I want to mention that again, because if you are creating it and you want to really order the things in a very special way, like you really want this paragraph to come up before this image, because then you'll be showing some imagery that's related to that paragraph and such, and you start playing with it and you can't seem to find out how to make that portfolio item to show really as you're creating it, that's the reason. The portfolio item automatically grabs your content and rearranges it. So if you want it to show exactly your content in the way that you're creating it, you have to select as created and formatted. And it doesn't matter which theme you are working on, that's the layout that you want to pick if you want the portfolio layout to really work as you created it. All right. In all the other cases, it'll automatically grab the content and do something completely different with it, like we are going to do now with this other layout. And it's so much fun just to go over the different layouts and test them all. Now, this is our logo design what now, and we have those images here and the video here and such. Now, let me show you a couple more options that we have to play with inside the portfolio items. So, video position. When we are using one of the automatic layouts, the theme will grab all your content and mix it up. Now, right now, by default, the video will get put after your galleries or images. If you want the video to show before the gallery, we change this option. Okay, I'm clicking on enter to update the portfolio item just to work a little bit quicker. And now when I refresh this, the video will show up first before the gallery. And that's a super simple option. You can control it here. Now, the keep video /s out of the slider option will take the video actually outside the slider. So if I have this layout that has a slider on it, and I want the video to show up separately. I will click on that option. Again, click on enter to save my options, changing the layout. And now I should have my slider and then the video. Okay, my slider and then the video. Perfect. Now, what else can we do here? First, we have the ability to wrap the images with links. And it works like this. Right now, if I come here, let's change this. Okay, if I come here and click on an image, I don't really have a link here. So I can do anything. If I want like this image to open up separately, I'm clicking on it and nothing happens. So if I want to have a link on the image, linking to the same image automatically done for me, I just click on this, click on save, refresh the portfolio item, and now I can click on my images to get them to open in a Lightbox. Of course, you need to have the Lightbox plugin installed in order for this to work. Otherwise, the image will open as its own, and in most of the cases, you don't really want that to happen. Okay, so now I have links. What else can I do with this? We have a URL to add here that will let me enter a URL to go back to the whole portfolio. So we haven't actually created our new portfolio module yet, but if I know I have a portfolio page, let's say, with my portfolio module, and I want to be able to let people click on a link to go and see all my portfolio items, I just enter that page's URL here, and it will create, let me show you, let's see if we have it here. So we don't have it here, but it will create here at the middle, or depending on your theme in a different place, a link that says view all. And that's exactly what you do with this short URL in here. And if you want to change that view all link text, you can do it here. So perhaps you want to add see all my services. So you would enter here, see all my services. And then here you would enter your link. Now we don't have it yet, so I'm just enter this as a symbol. So click on enter to refresh. And now when I click on refresh here, you see all my services, and this will take me eventually to the page where I have the portfolio set up. Okay, and super, super, super cool. Now, let's begin now by building our portfolio module. How do we do it? We create a new page. Let's click on add new. We will call this page design services. Perhaps we will click on modular page for the template. Again, if you haven't watched the first training session, go ahead and watch it. Doing publish now. If you're working with Gutenberg, you will see this new modular page in here, and it works just the same. You just click on new modular page and you'll be taken to this same place immediately. And design services, I'm just going to hide the page header for it. I'm working real fast now, but of course, I'm assuming you all did this already once at least. And then I'm going to open this page in the front-end editor, and this is our empty page. And we will start by adding a new portfolio module to this page. So exciting. Portfolio. This will be services portfolio, and we will use this to make sure we can find it out later. And then, again, layouts. The idea of the themes is that we can give you tools in order to design super cool stuff much faster. So in this case, we have 11 different layouts for the portfolio that we can use. So you should go ahead and try them all. But since we have different services here, and we have 4, this could really work for services. But I want to have 4 of them. Sandra says artisan themes has incredibly beautiful design. So happy to read that. So I am thinking that it will sound boring, but I really love this grid layout for this kind of stuff. I think it's super clear. And if I'm trying to sell something, I want to be as clear as possible. Now, since what I'm selling here is design, one could definitely argue that uh, any of those will be all right, because I'm trying to introduce myself as a designer, and perhaps I want to be a little more edgy. But in this case, let's say that I'm going for something more simple. So this layout 10 will work perfectly. Now I'm scrolling through some options because I want to show you the easy stuff first. Now I've selected the layout. Now what I have to do is to select what do I want to show in this portfolio. So let's say that I have two different catalogs of things. Let's say that I have my design services catalog, and because I'm a very freak weirdo, on the same website I'm selling my animal posters. I'm an animal photographer, and I'm selling posters with different types of animals. First thing that I could come up with. So in that case, you don't want your two different portfolios to clash and really mix between each other, because that doesn't make any sense. So what you would do here is you would select the specific portfolios that you want to bring to this portfolio module. How you do that? So we go down to this portfolio items section, and right now it is set on what to show all items. What this will do is you have 10 different portfolio items. It doesn't matter which are their categories or whatever, it will bring them all together in a snap. Now, if we had those two different catalogs, or even in this website now, where I have, let me show you, if I change this to custom selection, of course you can bring them by categories, and we will do exactly that in a moment. But if I wanted to manually pick them out, I change this to custom selection, and then I see all my portfolio items. And you see that I have more than 4. How's that possible? Because, as I told you at the beginning, I've just imported an artisan site, and it already came with a portfolio module inside that had some sample content. So right now, I have my 4 portfolio items, and I think there were like other 5 that we don't want to really bring here. So of course I could delete them, but right now, how do we bring those 4? So we go and just double click on each of these portfolio items that we want to show, and that will get them added to this list right here. Okay, so then we have an option that says order items by date, title, or menu order. And I don't really care right now, but we could do like order, menu order, and then ascendant, so that the order gets shown first. And if I click on save, let's see what happens. There we go. There we go. So there we have our 4 different services, and I could go and click on each of them, and we have our services present here. Super, super easy. Super easy. Now, why? Good question would be why my page has disappeared now. This is super weird. Oh, there we are. Okay, perfect. All right, so super easy. I could go ahead and let's open this page, not in the front-end editor, so that we don't get bothered by the bluish controls. So this is our page. I could go and click on the design, logo design one that we built with the video and the images, and there we have it. We can present those services in we did it in like 30 minutes or less. I still have some things to say. But nevertheless, we have the page working, and this is amazing. So coming back to this, wait, the thing that I showed you before. So if I wanted to use this as the link to come back to the page, how do I do it? I copy my page URL here, and I go to the portfolio item, and here where it says view all items URL, I paste my page URL. And if I refresh this page here. Now, I don't know if you can see, but if you take a look here at the bottom, when I hover over this see all my services link, now it takes me to the page that we just created. And you might be wondering, why do I have to fill up this link manually inside each of my portfolio items? Why can't it be an option for the module? Now, the reason for that is that, as I just told you, you could have more than one catalog working on your website. And perhaps you want your different portfolio items to belong to multiple or only one of those catalogs. And we wanted to give you the chance to make them work as independently as possible. That's really the reason for that. It takes a couple seconds more to fill out that information, but it's much, much more powerful that way. Now, let's go back to our page here because I want to show you another cool thing. You see that we have this navigation here at the top, right? So we haven't really completed the categories for our portfolio items. When we created the portfolio items, we had the portfolio categories here, and actually we could go ahead and do like add another portfolio category. So perhaps logo. Okay, in this case, it doesn't really make sense because we only have 4, all right? But let's say that you had like 20 different offers and some of them belonged to the logo category. So we could do logo and then select the category logo, but we hadn't yet. So I'm going to go ahead and update here. And if I refresh my page now, you see that the logo category got automatically added to this portfolio module. Now, what do you think is going to happen if I click on it? How many items will show up here with that category? The answer, only one, because we just completed the categories for one of these portfolio items. So if I click on logo, we only have this logo design here. Now again, if you have only 4 items on your module, don't use these categories because it doesn't make much sense. Unless you want filter your portfolio items by some sort of logic, or you want to get people the ability to go faster to your elements. But on this particular case, it isn't that useful. Now, what if I want to disable this? Okay, so actually, wait, what if I wanted to not show all these categories? So if I have 2 different portfolio modules, perhaps the logo category applies to this module, but the campaigns one doesn't. So on this category filters option, I have the ability to show or hide, but then I could enter manually my categories for this filter. So right now it's showing everything, but if I went ahead and do logo, web design, and perhaps branding and click on save, then my categories are modified for that. Okay, and of course, you should go ahead and add the actual categories to your portfolio items so that this works, because otherwise that won't really work. Okay, so just one moment. Perfect. All right. So what else I have to show you? So let's first hide these categories. We don't want them here. So hide. And then the other thing I'm going to hide is the navigation for the modules. Now, in this case, it doesn't really matter because I only have 4 items. But let's say that you had 50 items, like on our books example. So you have your 50 items, and you're not going to bring those 50 items into one page. Please don't bring 50 items into one page because that page will take ages to load, and you don't want that. So perhaps you enter items per page, and you do like, I don't know, like 12, and then you can show your navigation in order to show your other portfolio items. But in this case, we don't have that. We can just hide it, and it won't really make a difference. Now, What else I have to show you here? We learned already how to bring your portfolio items manually. Oh, but what if you wanted to bring all the portfolio items that you have for this particular module? So let's click on Save first. And let's say that I have those two different catalogs. I have my books catalog or the poster one, and I have my branding and design services on this other side. Now, how would I do that automatically this module brings these module items, even if 2 weeks from now, I want to go ahead and add two different and newer services to this list. So I don't want to have to come to this module and manually, like I have to remember to manually come and add these new portfolio items, even though I already added them. So if I wanted to, if I want, let's say that I add a new portfolio item, and let's say it's called poster design. I'm really out of ideas today. What's happening? Okay, so let's say a feature image, and right now, let's say that we have some content. Here we have some content, at least one paragraph, so that this portfolio item doesn't get sad. Okay, so publish. If I go to my design portfolio module and click on refresh, I'm waiting a couple of seconds. So this portfolio item is nowhere to be found, and that's a bummer. So how do I do to automatically bring this portfolio item? So this is the way you would go around it. So let's say that this portfolio item, this portfolio menu is my design portfolio. So I will go and add a portfolio category that is called design portfolio. It won't show up, so it doesn't really matter. Actually, it will show up, but we can change that later. So add portfolio category. Now, before we move on, let's go and modify in the quick edit here, the category or each of our portfolio items. So quick edit, and I select the design portfolio, update, quick edit. This is super quick. Click on update. Click on update, design portfolio, update. Perfect. Now, all of them have my design portfolio category. Now, what will happen if I refresh the page? Will it be here? No. Why? Because we're still manually bringing these 4 portfolio items into the module. Remember, we manually selected here. So how would I do to bring all the items that belong to that design portfolio category? This is how we do it. First, I remove this from here. I won't be using anymore. And in the what to show, here I will select by categories, and I will select the design portfolio category. If I click on Save Now, everything belonging to that category will show up here, and it happens automatically. If tomorrow I go and add a new portfolio item, actually I will do it right now because I want you to believe me. And I know that you want. So bike design, I told you, I'm completely out of ideas. So what do I have to do? I have to select the category. I enter some content, it doesn't matter. And I select a feature image. Oh, and I have a bike. Perfect. Isn't this perfect? Okay, click on publish. And now if I go to this page, since I have selected the category as my automatic grabber for all these portfolio items, now I have this new bike design portfolio item here. And yes, they are sharing the same feature image, but that's my bad. And that's the way the portfolio module works. Now, of course, I could come here and, sorry, we want to close that. I could come here and click on edit to edit the module and select a different portfolio layout, click on save, and take a look at this. How cool. How cool is this? You see? Again, changing the whole portfolio layout by modifying just one option. This one here will bring some of the information Now you see that you have these design portfolio categories here, and that's not really useful. So in order to hide that, uh, I don't think we have an option for that. So to hide that, you can easily do that by adding a quick CSS snippet. And if you need that, just go into the forums and ask us, how do I remove the categories from the portfolio view? I don't want them to show up in there. Could you just be so nice to give me a CSS snippet for that? And we just let you know how to do that. It's super easy. Now, what else do I have to show you here? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so last part of this whole, I have actually two more things to show you. So the first one is this. If you go to the theme options panel and you click on the portfolio tab, you will see that now we have options for your whole portfolio world inside the theme. And I'm just looking at the hour and I'm laughing at the fact that I said it will take half an hour. So sorry that I lied. So we have these portfolio options in here, and I will just go quickly over them so that you know what you have to play with. So first, we have, it's my pleasure. So we have first the portfolio items / prefix. And how does this work? Every time you open a portfolio item, you see that the URL is composed by your whole domain, the name and / actually of your portfolio item. And then you have this portfolio item thing right here in the middle. Now, if you are working with an actual portfolio, this works perfectly because it is a portfolio item indeed. But what if it was your book category, your book collection? So that wouldn't really make any sense. And you would like to change that. To do that, you come here to theme options portfolio and you change this for instance, books collection or books item or just books. And this has two very important things to have in mind. First, this flag that you use here can't be anything that you are already using as a slug. So if you have a books category for your posts, or if you have a page that is named books, or if you have a post that is named books, and books is the slug for all of them, don't use books as your portfolio slug because it'll break. All right, it'll just break and you won't know what's happening. It doesn't work. I go to my portfolio item and it doesn't show up. That's the reason. And the second thing that you want to keep in mind is that after you change this name here, you want to reflash permalinks. So to flash permalinks, what you have to do is just go to settings, permalinks, and just click on save changes here at the bottom. Okay, yeah, it sounds silly that you have to do this, just the way WordPress works. If you do that, WordPress will rebuild all the URLs inside your whole website. And that's the way to tell WordPress, hey, WordPress, listen up, I just changed this very little section of the URLs. I would like for you to go ahead and change everything. Okay, it happens automatically, but you have to do that. So I'm not doing it right now, but that's what you have to do. Now, the view all items URL option will work just as the one we described earlier, but it will work as a default. All right, so if you will only have one portfolio module, use this view all items URL and view all items text as the option for that, and then you don't have to manually enter the option on all your portfolio items. But remember, if you will have two different portfolios, go ahead and do them separately. Okay, now keep navigation in same category. What this option does is the following. Let's say that I want to enter, I go ahead and enter this logo design element. Okay, and I'm watching this, and then I have this navigation here, and I see that I have next website redo and previous web design. So I go ahead and click on previous, and I watch this, And then I have brand design. Oh, how interesting. I go and read the content here. And then I have sneakers campaign. And that's weird. Like, I don't remember I had this sneakers campaign in my portfolio. And then, oh wait, it was here before. So this is part of our whole different portfolio module. And we really don't want people to be browsing our services and then wind up in a whole different section, because that really won't help us. So what you do is you come and you click on keep navigation in the same category. And then once you do that, what will happen is that the portfolio items will immediately know to let your visitors browse the portfolio items only inside the same category. So if I click here and it says previous brand design, now, sorry, you see what happens? Oh, I had the books. You see, now I don't have that because I accidentally changed it to books. That's what happens if you don't pay attention, Javier. So again, come here, and we were here. Okay, so again, click on this brand design, and then I could come here, brand design, and then previous. We don't have any more portfolio items to browse through. Okay, and that's because we set the portfolio to only let our visitors navigate between the same categories. Super helpful option if you are going to have multiple portfolios. Okay, now the two super easy options and then a huge one. The portfolio transient option that you have here is a sort of a very little cache option that we incorporated in the themes to help you with performance on your website. If you are doing everything as you are supposed to, you shouldn't have to touch this. But perhaps you're using a plugin that really needs to interact with your portfolio. If that's the case, it could be the case that the plugin doesn't really know what's happening inside the portfolio, because this option that we have here closes the whole portfolio and doesn't let the plugin know what's inside. So if you see that you need to use another plugin with your portfolio items and something is not working, this here is the first thing that you have to disable in order for that to be fixed, and hopefully that's what's causing it. The second one is that if you are saving your portfolio items and somehow you are not seeing the changes, this button here just refreshes the whole transient cache, and you will see everything as if you just saved it. Okay, super easy, but important to know. Now, the monster of the portfolio, the data fields. Data fields. Now, this is our brand design. Let's go to the logo one because we had it with a nicer layout. Okay, so these are the categories that we had set for the portfolio. This is the content, these are the images and such. Now, the portfolio comes with this cool option that lets you add information to your portfolio items in a more structured way. So perhaps let's think about what kind of information we could have on our design services. So perhaps we could have a price information, we could have some availability information, we could have a link to contact or perhaps to purchase this package. Perhaps, right? So perhaps I want to use a link to another page where I have a contact form with some very specific information for this service. And you could do all of that with this portfolio data fields section right here in theme option. The first thing you want to do to enable that is to manually create those fields. So let's do that. Let's add a field title that says price. and you have to enter a slug for this. This is just like a simplified version of your name. And if you can't have spaces here. So if you have two words, you will join them together with a hyphen. Okay. So perhaps price here. And this option here asks us whether we want to display the title of the field. So whether we want it to say price and then wherever the price is. So in this case, we want to. So click on display field title. Then let's add another one. We said earlier that it would be availability, perhaps availability. So perhaps like how longer do I have to wait in order to get this work done? So field slug, availability, and then do I want to display the field title? Yes. And then add a new field, and this one will be the purchase link, like order link. Okay. Do we want it to show up? Yes. But let's change this to order here, something like this, order link, and that's about it. So I will click on Save Settings, and then I will go back to my portfolio item. Right now, let's go to the logo one. Right now, if I click on refresh, you will see that nothing really changed here. Okay, so let's go to our portfolio item. And again, we are using this logo design one just because I like this. You have to go and do this for all your portfolio items, or at least all of them in which you want these custom fields to appear. So, data fields. You see that now I have this section here, and now I can see the fields that I just added. And if I would go and add a new one, you would see it here too. So price, availability, and order here. And here's the thing. You will only see which you complete. We have 3. But if you, for some reason, didn't want to complete the price field for one of your portfolio items, it won't show up as an empty field. It just won't show up at all. And that's great, because if you have 2 different portfolio modules, and perhaps you will be using different custom fields for each of those 2, then you can create all the fields that you want. So for my design services, I will have these 3, but for my books collection, I will have like year of printing and editorial or publisher, and perhaps the, I don't know, the actual condition of the book, whether if it's torn up or if it's in very good conditions. And I can use these 2 different sets of fields, and they won't show up if you don't complete them. That's very useful. So price, let's say that my logo price is $3,000, and availability, it will be 4 weeks. And the order here, let's say that I have a page on my website. Let's say that it's the contact page, and I will use this as my order page. Okay, so I would have to build this up, but let's say that that's the page we want to use. So order here, and I paste the link. If I click on update, and I go and refresh my logo design portfolio item, now I have right here these 3 fields. Now I have my price, I have my 4 weeks, and I have the link actually not really working as a link. So let's see what's happening. Yeah, we love those 2. We really love those 2. So wait, oh, okay, so availability got unselected. This is interesting. And this got unselected too. Okay, so let's click on Save Settings, and let's make sure. Oh, okay, perfect. Now if I refresh, perfect. So I have the link here. Now this should really work as a link, right? I mean, it's not really helping us if I can't click. And the reason you can't click on it, it's because it's just a custom field. So how would I do if I wanted to use this as an actual link instead of having people to copy the URL like do not ever do that. So how would I do that? This is how you do it. So you go back to your portfolio item. We first remove this from here. So to begin with, this won't show up. And then I have this option here that says external link, and I can paste my link. And for the link title, I can write. So I would go ahead and do order here and click on update. And then next to my custom information fields, I will have an order here button immediately and automatically created for me. And I can click on this, and then I'll be taken to that contact page to order these services. How cool is that? Super, 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 super easy to do. And then, again, if I would go back to our, where's the page? I don't have it, right? So let's go back. I don't even have it in the menu yet. Let's go back to our portfolio page. It was this design service. Perfect. Okay, design services. Let's go and watch this page. So we have this portfolio, right? Let's go ahead and momentarily change the layout to the catalog one so that we can see everything. We are almost done with this. Perfect, perfect. Okay, and that's about it. So right now, if I would go and click on logo design, we know that we have our fields here. But if I would go and click on, come on, and click on web design, we don't have fields here. And that's not because the layout is different, it's just because we didn't enter anything. So I would have to go and click on all portfolio items, look for the web design one. And again, if you didn't want the other custom fields to show up in this one, you see, the only thing you have to do is just don't fill in any details, and then they won't show up. But if you want them to show up, you go to this other portfolio item, and let's say that availability for price, price here would say request price, and then availability 2 weeks. Okay, or perhaps I don't want to enter availability for this one, just to show you that you can use them differently on each portfolio item. And then you will see that now, if I refresh this, I have the fields right in here. And see how on each layout that you can use, the fields get shown differently. If I were to go and modify this portfolio item to, let's say, this layout over here, again, automatically, I have them here. Well, didn't change that much in this case, but you see that they change right with your own content. Let's see what happens with this layout 3 option here. Oh, you see now below the content, that's very nice. Okay, then I have only one other option to show you. And this one can blow your mind. So pay attention. Right now, we have, we missed our, here. We have our design services page where each portfolio item links to its own portfolio item, as of course you are you will suppose it happens. So if I click on logo design, I'm taken to logo design, and then I have the content and the categories and the order here link and the price, availability and such. But let's say that instead of this being a portfolio of services, it's a portfolio of works. Okay, so let's say that I'm an agency and I have, like, I don't know, the works of 20 different works that I did for some companies that hired me as a designer. And then this link here that says order here would actually be a link to the website that I just did for this company. All right, so perhaps I go into logo design, And then let's say that this says view work, okay? And the website that I just did for this company is YouTube. Okay, let's say that I'm the agency that developed YouTube. And this is my external link. So if I click on save, and I go to logo design again, now it says view work. And if I click on it, I'm taken to YouTube, of course. Now that is not the website that we just created. Of course, we're just kidding. So view work, it takes me to there. And let's say that I will have a view work link on all my portfolio items because this is my design page. Okay, so I have my 20 websites that I created for other companies, and you can enter all of these, anyone, and then you could read a short, a brief explanation about how the work was and see some images, and then you could go and see the website. But let's say that I want to use this portfolio module here as a catalog where I could immediately go to that link so that I don't have to click on this portfolio item and then click on the link to go and see the work. Okay, so when in which instances you could want to do something like that. So perhaps you don't have any imagery to show, or perhaps you don't have any content to fill in for your portfolio item, and you just want to enter the link, the name, and one image that is the same that you are using as your feature image. Okay, so I know it's a long shot, but we've had many clients, many customers that wanted to do something like that. So I want to use one portfolio module because I like the layout of it. I like that it will automatically create this grid or this mixed up layout with my images and titles, but I really just want to use this as a way to link to somewhere else. And perhaps this link could even be inside my own website. So perhaps I like the idea of using the portfolio module to arrange my items because I like the layout of the portfolio and I like the way that it shows up with this nice arrow or however it shows up in your theme. But I don't really want to use the portfolio items per se. I want to link to some other page. So in this case, it could be YouTube because it's the website that I just created for another company and I want you to browse it. But it could be actually one page inside your own website. So how you do that? Remember, I just added the link as the external link for the portfolio, right? So the only thing that I have to do, if I want for this portfolio module, and it will work just for this one module here, to open my items in that new link, what I have to do is go and click on Edit. And then you will see that you have this option here that says items open. And right now they say portfolio item, and this is the default option. Of course, I click on a portfolio item and then I see the portfolio item. But if you wanted the module to link to the external link of each of your portfolio items, you open this, click on external link, and click on save. And once you do that, right now, I don't know if you can see it, but at the bottom of the browser, you see the URL. And if I move over this one, you see that it says YouTube at the bottom. If I click on this, I will be taken to YouTube, okay? Because I'm using the external link. And for this one, this right here, I don't have entered, I haven't entered an external link, so it won't work right now. So you should go ahead and enter your external link. But I think that if you don't have an external link, yes, it opens the same portfolio item. It works that way. So that's great. So even if you want to use this for one or two of your items, you can mix that up and use your portfolio items on some of the cases. And when you want the items to link to another place, you just enter the link and it'll work just as it did before. That if I click on the logo design one, the logo design one, I have the YouTube link right there at the bottom. Okay, so the only one other thing that I'm not showing you today, because this theme doesn't have it, but perhaps the theme that you're using does, is that right inside your portfolio module options, you have an option to whether load up the portfolio items on its own or whether to load them up via Ajax. Now, Ajax is a way of loading up items on the same page without refreshing the page. If you are using that option, what it's going to happen if that you click on the portfolio item, and instead of redirecting the browser to that other URL, it will bring the item right on the same page, and you can then close it and keep navigating the same page. So it'll open the item on the same page you are now. Okay, that's the only one option that I can't show you right now because we are on Paper Plus and it doesn't have it. But that's how the portfolio module works. It's a very, very powerful module. It can do pretty much whatever you want. So my advice is spend some time planning how are you going to use it, because otherwise you could wind up inside a mess, because you have one link opening here and another one here, and then you're mixing up your stuff. So you could use it for whatever you want. Just make some planning. As I always say, grab some paper, draw some drawings, try to understand how you're going to use it, and it'll be super helpful to you. Awesome. Sandra says, what a wonderful session. Perfect. Do you have any questions? I think we really covered everything. It took a whole longer than I thought it would take, but I think we really covered everything, right? So if you have questions, make sure to go to the support forums. We love hanging out there. If you are already a customer of us and you have been for a while, you know that we really go out of our way to really help you guys. So if you have any questions, go inside the support forums and make sure to ask in there at the URL. Let us know if you have any questions or anything that you would like to solve, and we'll be super happy to explain you how to go about it. And if you have any questions about the portfolio specifically, again, make sure you do. We are adding a whole section. I think we just did. If you go to the knowledge base, you will see that there's a new section explaining how to use a portfolio. It was a section that we wanted to add for a long time, and we just did. Make sure to go and check it out too. And with that, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. Otherwise, it would be so boring. So thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you next time.